Let's talk about this idea of the discriminant, okay? So essentially what happens is you have three different scenarios. And we talked about this a little bit in Math 65 for those of you who are with me. If not, we'll just recap, okay? You have, when you graph a quadratic, what does it look like? A parabola, exactly. The parabola, usually a lot of the examples we've seen is the parabola crosses the x-axis twice. And that's why you're getting two x-intercepts, right? Or the parabola could just sit on, could open upward or downward, could cross once, one x-intercept, or it might not cross at all. So you could have parabolas that never intersect the x-axis. They have no x-intercepts. Okay, so starting with standard form of a quadratic, okay, starting with standard form of a quadratic, we say that b minus 4ac is the discriminant. Now, this was the part underneath the radical, right? So you think about, you have basically three different scenarios. If the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, if you take the square root of a positive number, what kind of numbers are positive? They're greater than 0, right? If you take the square root of a positive number, you ended up getting two x-intercepts. So when the discriminant is greater than 0, you have there are two real solutions. Okay? If the discriminant equals 0, well, notice right here, if I only have one x-intercept, it's also the parabola's what? Vertex. So remember the vertex, x equals negative b over 2a? If the discriminant is 0, your x-intercept is your vertex. And then the rest of it, the plus or minus the square root of, goes away. So then there is one real solution. Okay? If the discriminant is less than 0, what kind of numbers are less than 0? So this one was positive. These ones are negative. Can you take the square root of a negative? Can you take the square root of a negative? Oh, not for now. So there are no real solutions. So that's this case right up here. No real solutions means that the number that's left under the radical is a negative, and when we take the square root of a negative, we say it's not real. Okay, so those are our three different scenarios. So if I just look at this equation right here and I want to find the discriminant, in fact, you should probably all try that now, but we're going to keep going. So you could always pause and try and find it. But to evaluate the discriminant, we need A, B, and C. So tell me what is A in this case? And what's B? And what's C? Negative 15, right? So we're going to plug those things in. 7 squared minus 4 times A times C. And we don't really care actually what this number is. We just want to know, is it positive, negative, or 0? So we have 49 plus, I don't know what that is. 4 times 15 is 60. Because a negative and a negative plus 60 is 109. So how many, just based on that number being positive, how many real solutions do we have? 2 real solutions. Okay, now we look at the next one. The next one is set up in, is it set up in standard form? No. So what do we need to do to set it up in standard form? Yes, we have 9x squared plus 24x plus 16 equals 0. A is equal to 9, B is equal to 24, C is equal to 16. Now we're going to plug those numbers in. So tell me what to plug in. I have, oh my gosh, we're going to need a calculator for this. Okay, minus 4 times, times, what do you predict the answer is going to be here? Yeah, I have no idea, but I think it's going to be 0. But anyway, 24 squared minus 4 times 9 times 16 gives us 0. Okay? And what does that mean? There's one real solution. And the one real solution is, by the way, the same thing as the vertex. Because if the parabola sits on the x-axis, that's the vertex. Oh, yes. I saw the light bulb go off. Okay, and then the next one. What do we need to do to find the discriminant here? Add 5 to both sides. So we get x squared minus 2x plus 5 equals 0. A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 2, and C is equal to 5. So tell me what to plug in for my discriminant. Good. Yeah. Times 1. Good. And so here we have 4 minus 20, which is negative. So we've seen all 3 cases. How many real solutions are there? 0. And in fact, later on, you'll find out when you take the square root of negative 16, you get an imaginary number. So we say instead of a real solution, there's imaginary solutions, but you don't need to know that just yet. So this is a situation where you have a parabola that does not cross the axes, okay? All right, any questions about the discriminant?